Bitcoin has been the king of the cryptocurrencies, the Goliath that towers above all the thousands of other cryptocurrencies. But in recent months this giant has tumbled from an all-time high of $68,789 in December of 2021 to around $20,000 as of this writing, July 2020, sometimes a little more and sometimes a little less. But what can we expect in the future? Will Bitcoin recover and zoom back up, or will it keep crashing all the way to oblivion? That is what I'm about to give my opinion about and what I think you should expect. The current crash of Bitcoin was precipitated in large part by the actions of the Federal Reserve. With inflation raging out of control at a rate not seen in decades, the central bank seemed to go into a frenzy, raising interest rates in a desperate attempt to slow down the red-hot inflation eating up the economy. The war in Ukraine made things even worse, spiking the price of oil and creating a panic in the financial markets. This has resulted in Bitcoin and the vast majority of the other cryptocurrencies crashing to where they are now. But what will happen in the future? Where should we expect the cryptocurrency market to go? Well, I think it will go straight to hell, in a worst-case scenario. It could go below $5,000 if the economy should get really bad. Sure, in the long run, 5 to 10 years out, Bitcoin may very well recover and even go to new highs. But the important thing to remember is that as the economy goes, so goes the cryptocurrency market, and other financial markets as well. What will happen in the long run won't matter one red cent to you if you're completely wiped out. If you lose money that you can't afford to lose, what will that do to your state of mind? How will it affect any hope of a secure financial future for you and your family? Let me tell you a short story, a horrible one, but a story that I think many of you should hear. Once upon a time there was a so-called stable coin called Lunaterra. It was called stable because it was pegged to Luna USD, which maintained a constant value of $1, or at least very close, and so its value was not supposed to ever go down to any significant extent. But one day the cryptocurrency market started to panic, as the effect of the aforementioned red-hot inflation rate and resultant Federal Reserve interest rate hikes set in. In roughly a 24-hour period, Lunaterra lost virtually all of its value. If you had $1 million in it the day before, it was now worth less than $1. That's right, $1. A lot of people had their entire life savings in Lunaterra, because of its high returns up to that point, but were now completely wiped out. They believed all the hype they were hearing about how safe it was. And yet they could still get such good returns. But now virtually all of their money was gone and they were in a complete state of shock and despair. Some of them even did the unthinkable and ended their lives over this. That was a terrible story, but one I think you should hear. After all, the cryptocurrency market is extremely risky and volatile. It can have the highest of highs and the absolute worst lows. It's true that the sad story of Lunaterra is an extreme one. We probably shouldn't expect something so terrible to happen to Bitcoin, right? For God's sake, I hope not, but if we have learned anything from this awful example, it is to invest very carefully in cryptocurrencies, even Bitcoin, because none of us can see into the future. And you just don't know what could happen. Be very, very careful. Good luck to all of you and so long for now.